Let us learn to use @word annotation in our Spring application. Find some points about @word annotation. First, in Spring Framework, dependency injection of bean can be achieved automatically by using @word annotation. We can use @word annotation on class fields, setter methods, or constructor. Second point, when we use @word annotation, the required bean for dependency injection is searched by Spring container. If more than one bean is eligible for auto-wiring, the error will be thrown. We can avoid such error by using primary annotation on one bean out of all eligible beans. Point third, the auto-wire annotation looks for a bean to achieve dependency injection, and if it does not find any suitable bean, it throws error. This is the default behavior of it. We can change this behavior by using @auto-wire required false. It means @auto-wire required attribute is true by default. We can enable @auto-wire annotation using Java config as well as XML configuration. In Java config, use @component scan annotation with @configuration to recognize components. It means we are using stereotype annotations such as @component service. So to recognize those components, we need to use @component scan. What we have to do is that inside component scan, we have to specify the package. Then inside in that package are its sub packages. All the components will be recognized by that Java config. And if we are using XML configuration, we have three approaches. Either just create a bean, auto-wired annotation bean post processor. Just create a bean for that. Or use context annotation config. Or use context component scan element. By these three settings in XML configuration, then we can identify @auto-wired annotation in our application. Here I have created a simple application to understand how to use @auto-wired annotation. First of all, let us understand about my application. What I am doing that I have an interface person and I have created a method getCity. Then I am creating a class employee implementing person interface and overriding its getCity method and returning some string city. Now what I am doing that I have, and one more thing, I have made it a component using component. Person is an interface and employee is a component. Now I have another component. I have used component and this is a class and I have created as a component, and here what I am doing that I am making a field. I have created a field of person class and some setter and getters. Setter and getters for person and name. Now what I want that if I want the company class and if I am instantiating it, suppose I am instantiating it as like this. This is the Spring Boot application and here I am getting the bean company. Then what I want that I want to print person city. So what I am doing that company.getPerson.getCity. Inside company, this is getPerson and inside person I have a getCity, but this is an interface. So in this case, if I run my application, there will be an error that com.concretepage.person.getCity. It's returning none because basically what happens that it's not getting the any class. Person is an interface. So what I want that Spring should inject by default person as a imply, because imply is a derivative of the person interface. And if we want that Spring should do by default itself, so we have to auto-wire it. What we have to do to auto-wire is use @auto-wire annotation, and we are done. Now what will happen that Spring container will use imply class to inject here. Let's run our application. Now we can see that it's running. So what happened that person field has been injected with the imply bean. Okay, so we have achieved it. By default, that imply bean has been injected to this person field. Now one more thing, that in how many ways we can use our auto-wire annotation. So one thing is we can use at the field level. The second thing is we can use at the setter method. This is the setter method, set person. Running. This was the second way to use @auto-wire annotation. And the third is we can use at the constructor too. Suppose I have a constructor here. We can auto-wire here. I have auto-wire @auto-wire annotation at the constructor level. Let's see output. It's running. One more thing I would like to show you, that you can use this auto-wire annotation at the parameter level too in constructor. Again it's running. So in this way we have seen that we can use @auto-wire annotation to inject a bean, and this will be done by Spring container. And one more thing, that if there are more than one classes implementing person interface, then in that case what we can do that create one component as a primary. Okay, thank you.